Hey, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Yoga Church Digital with Karen Hughes. We're so grateful to be with you once again this morning. And excitedly, Karen this morning is in the Lake Deaton United Methodist Church space with a group of folks who are gathered there, social distance, and following all the protocols, doing yoga live with us this morning. So we're really cool. It's really amazing to be able to turn to like a kind of a hybrid way of being in person. But for in your living rooms with me, so I'm here in my living room, actually in a pile of pugs, getting ready to do some yoga. For those of you that need to stay in that kind of more safe space, I'm here with you as well. So we're just really grateful to be able to do this with you and to provide a space to breathe, relax, do some yoga, and worship God. So we want to begin just by wherever you are and whoever you are. Good morning, Jean. If you would post in the comment section just your name, and if you're comfortable, you could even say how you're feeling today and where you are. We would love to do that. And I'm going to begin with a very brief devotional from the Christian scriptures. And just want to say right up front that we know that everybody who joins with us is not Christian. Some are maybe spiritually open that are joining. Maybe some of you want nothing to do with being a Christian. Wherever you are in that spectrum, that's fine. This is just for all people who want to kind of break away from the craziness of the world and worship and join into this spiritual practice together. So Karen and I are both Christians, and that's kind of our path that we follow. But we just welcome all people to join into this with us. And I'm just going to actually read one verse this morning. And I think it's a really important verse in a time where anxiety is high. There's a lot of stress right now, right? Let's just own that. And so this verse was really just challenging to me personally. And it's something that Jesus taught his disciples. And it's a challenging verse. And it's why a lot of people say, following Jesus is not for me. But what it says is, very truly, I tell you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains just a single grain. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. And those who love their life will lose it. And those who lose their life in this world will keep it for the sake of eternal life. This idea of dying to self, I don't know about anybody else out there. That's a good question, Jean. The church is available for yoga. You can actually go to Lake Deaton on Friday mornings at 9:00, or you can join with us digitally. So great question. Thank you. But this idea of dying to self, right? It's very challenging, especially in a culture like we've been called the selfie generation, right? And it's really a culture of narcissism, honestly, and selfishness and consumerism. And Jesus's teaching is almost, completely countercultural to what most of us have experienced, particularly those of us who grew up in the United States. Right. So this idea of dying to self to truly live. And I really think in some way, all people are dying to live. All people are really dying to live. And one group of people, they're dying to live the life that the world tells us we should have. Right. A world of, life of money and prestige and healthy, wealthy and wise and all that good business. And people are dying literally and seeing this disconnect between our life and that life that the world tells us we should have. And so we work ourselves to death and we compete and we climb the ladder of success. We do all that to try to earn that life that the world tells us we should have. Now, for those who follow Jesus, the Christian spiritual path, it's the opposite. We are dying to live, or trying to, the best that we can. And none of us are perfect at this, right? But we are trying to die to ourselves so that we can live the life that Jesus says is truly life. And that's a life of selfless sacrifice. It's a life of giving ourselves away for others. It's almost this one further step in our human tendency of thinking and reacting, to pause and to say, okay, my selfish desire is this, but what is really God calling me to do? Or what's the need of the people around me? And how do I love people that maybe are different than me politically? Maybe they voted for someone else that I voted for. Maybe they come from a different religious tradition than I do. Whatever that thing is that's dividing us, what Jesus is teaching us is we have to die to our own desires, our own wants, and our own needs, and give ourselves away to our other and just be present with them and love them. So this morning, as it's a really kind of politically charged climate, I know what I'm going to use this time as Karen leads us to kind of look into my own soul and my own heart and to say, where are the places I need to die? Because it's easy to tell our other and say, you need to die to yourself. You need to stop with that, whatever ideology or whatever that is. It's the harder thing, and what Jesus is telling us to do, to turn that inward and to say, I really can't control my other, right? Actually, if I draw a circle around myself, the only thing that I can control in this world is what's in that circle. And it's how I relate and how I act. And so what I feel like yoga for me, and not trying to project this on anybody else, is a time for me to really stop and take an evaluation of where I'm at in my own soul and my own mind and my own emotional life, and to really just give myself away in a full body way of worship. So the stretches and the postures and the movements are all this form of worship, and a time to kind of get out of our heads and really just join into the spiritual practice. One little quick thing before I turn it over to Karen. In this same space tonight, we'll have our first Celebrate Recovery meeting back at Lake Deep United Methodist Church. Celebrate Recovery is for anybody who has hurts, habits, and hangups. By the way, that's all of us. Do you have a hurt, like emotional harm? Do you have a habit, some negative behavior that you engage in? Do you have a hang up, like a negative mental attitude? Then there's a place for you called Celebrate Recovery where we all kind of come together and heal. It'll take place right in that same space where Karen is this morning, but it'll be tonight at 5:30, and we will welcome anybody who wants to join into that time. So Karen, thank you so much for leading us today, and we turn it over to you.
Michael, for having me, and thank you all of you for coming today and live, to be here and live. So that those of you that are watching, or maybe you're watching later, just to clarify, on Friday mornings at 9 o'clock, except for holidays, we will be doing yoga live. So you're welcome to come into our CLC, which is where we also have our sanctuary on Sunday mornings, and join us for yoga live. So this is really exciting. We do social distance. We ask you that you wear a mask as you come into the building until you are placed on your mat, seated, socially distanced apart. So please join us next Friday if you can. Otherwise, just do it from your own home or wherever you're doing it from. Invite your friends and enjoy the practice. So let us start with the heart of yoga, which is breath. Let's just close our eyes and begin to breathe. And be aware of your breath. As you breathe, maybe clear your mind of all the clutter, all the negativity, all the chaos, everything that's going on politically. Let's just clear the space in our brain. And maybe focus on an intention like Michael was talking about, maybe dying to some old habit, dying to being right to your spouse, or whatever it may be. Maybe it's an intention of grace, or maybe just loving more, loving others, loving the unlovable. Listen to your mind, listen to your heart, and maybe use that intention for your practice today. Let your breath guide your movement through your practice today. On the next breath, let us open our eyes, sit nice and tall. I encourage you to bend your knees whenever we're in a seated position to protect your spine. If you you don't want folded legs, that's okay. You can just bring your feet out in front. You want to take your arms out long, your palms up. Inhale to float your hands up. And exhale, hands over, heart center, and namaste. Inhale to float the hands out, reaching up and out, big stretch here. Using your breath to guide your movement. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale, and last big stretch, reaching the fingers up as high as you can and out to the sides, float the fingertips softly down to your mat. As we go into some side stretches, taking your left palm up for strength and over for flexibility. We're going to go side to side, but move at your own pace with your own breath. And know that this is your practice today, so it's important that you listen to your body as we're all at different levels. And the beautiful thing about yoga is we're all built differently, so we all move differently. So only move in ways that feel good for your body. It's okay to just take a break and go into a child's pose or whatever stretch feels good for you. It's important that whatever you're doing feels good. So keep that in mind with your practice. And 2 more big stretches, inhaling, exhaling. Last one, inhale, and exhale. Rest your hands by your side and sit as tall as you can as we go into some neck stretches. So the taller the spine, the bigger the stretch. As we drop our chin to our chest, let your head be heavy and feel grab the neck stretch and breathe. And keeping your chin and your chest and your eyes closed, just let the spine go. We'll continue stretching all the way down the spine, letting the rib cage cave in and the shoulders round forward as your head gets heavier and heavier, increasing that space between each vertebra and your spine. Inhale and exhale, slowly roll your chin up to your left shoulder. And when you get there, sit as tall as you can. As we go into half neck circles in slow motion, inhale to drop the chin to the chest, rounding the spine. Exhale, come up to the right shoulder and grow tall in the spine. Inhale, dropping the chin to the chest. Exhale, up to that left shoulder, grow tall. And one more, inhale. Exhale, bring your gaze back to the center. Try to grow just a little bit taller as we go into some more neck stretches, letting your left earlobe fall towards your left shoulder with a heavy head. And if you want more, maybe you lift up your left hand and just place it on your ear or not. Maybe you still want more, you can walk your right fingertips away from your body. On the next breath, slowly release your stretch. Bring your head back up to the center, and we're going to slowly look over that right shoulder with breath. Inhale to look over the shoulder, and exhale to come back to the center. Go a little bit taller as we let our right earlobe fall towards our right shoulder with a heavy head. Maybe taking that right hand on top of your ear, and maybe still wanting more, you just walk those left fingers slowly away and feel a stretch. Breathe. On the next breath, slowly release your stretch, bring your head back up to the center as we slowly look over our left shoulder with breath. Inhale to look over the shoulder, and exhale to come back to the center. Placing your hands softly on your knees, we're going to warm up the spine with some circles. So upper body circles starting really small, listening to your body, or maybe rounding as you go to the back and lifting your heart as you come forward. Gradually making your circles just a little bit larger. Inhaling and exhaling with each big circle. Note that the slower you move a joint, the more tension you will release. So slower is actually better. So take your time, work with your body, and with your breath. Almost everything we do on the mat can be done in chair. In a few weeks, maybe we'll do a chair version of all of these yoga poses that we do. All right, let's switch directions. Start small and then gradually increase the size of your circle. One more big circle as we come back up to tall spine for a seated cat and cow. So for the seated cow, we're going to hinge forward, lift your heart, lift your gaze, fill the lungs up with air with an inhale. On the exhale, nod your chin and slowly round back like a leaning cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cow. Inhale. And exhale. And one more seated cat and cow. And exhale. And come back to tall spine. Bring the soles of your feet together if they're not already together. And if you have lower back issues, keep your feet away. Otherwise, pull your heels in. Maybe wiggle to get a little closer. Grab hold of either your ankles, your shins, your knees, whatever feels good, and sit as tall as you can. And if you want a little bit more with a long spine, hinge forward as your elbows float over your knees, gently press them, and then tuck your chin, let your nose fall toward your feet. And breathe 3 breaths here. On the next breath, slowly round your spine back up to tall spine, lifting your chin last, taking your legs straight out in front for a nice staff pose. So point your toes up to the ceiling, use your fingertips to get a little bit taller, relax the shoulders down away from the ears, and you're in staff pose where you can stay and enjoy the stretch. Or if you want more, you can float your fingers all the way up, reaching for the ceiling, and then just hinge 2 or 3 inches and hold it there for 3 breaths. Reaching, feeling the energy flow through your fingertips, feeling the energy flow through the soles of your feet. We're going to do a forward fold next, but it's not for everyone. It's contraindicated if you're over 60. So maybe your spine allows you to forward fold. If it doesn't, just stay with your stretch with your fingers up to the ceiling. Otherwise, let the nose fall towards the knees. Maybe you bend your knees, and with each breath, try to straighten them just a little bit. Inhale and exhale, slowly rounding the spine up, stacking one vertebra on top of the other, lifting the chin last. As you pull your left knee in for a little spinal rotation. You can cross your foot, it's totally optional. We're going to take our opposite arm or elbow around that knee to get nice and tall. And then slowly rotate around to your left, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, and breathing so deep on your inhale that you feel the lung and the rib expand. On the next breath, come back around to the center as you drop the left knee down and let your left ankle just stay on top of your right knee for a hamstring stretch. Maybe you stay here, this might be enough for you, but if you want more, with a long spine, lean back as you slide that right hip in with that long spine, hinge forward, bringing your chest towards your lifted calf. Maybe you cradle your knee and gently rock it. Or maybe you want more, you can cradle your whole leg, your lower leg, and gently rock it. Gentle, soft rocking. On the next breath, we'll slowly release, straightening out that right leg, straightening out the left leg, sitting tall and pulling the right knee in, maybe crossing the right foot over for spinal rotation to the right. Taking that left forearm or elbow, whatever works for your body, to sit tall as you slowly take that right knee around to the back, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, and breathing deep. On the next breath, slowly come back around to the center as you drop that right knee down, right ankle on top of the left knee. Maybe that's enough. Maybe you stay there. I know for a lot of men, this is about all they want to do, and that's because they're built differently, and that's okay. If you want more, lean back with a long spine, sliding that left heel in, long spine, hinge forward. Cradle the knee and gently rock it, or maybe you prefer the whole lower leg. And gently, gently rock. You'll feel this in your piriformis, on your outside of your right glute. Feel really good. Inhale, and then on the exhale, slowly release, uncross the legs. We're going to transition to our hands and knees for a kneeling cat and cow. So if you're someone that can't come to your hands and knees, you can stay seated and go back to that seated cat and cow that we just did. Otherwise, on hands and knees, let's make sure our wrists are under our shoulders and your hands and knees and feet are all in alignment. We'll start with kneeling cat. So round your chin, lift your belly, round your spine up as high as you can reach your shoulder blades up towards the ceiling, pulling your belly into your spine. And then as we move into kneeling cow, we let our belly fall towards the earth, softening the wrists, softening the shoulders, softening the elbows as you slowly lift your heart, lift your gaze, and inhale. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. On this exhale, let's hold that cat pose as we move in some big hip circles. So your hips are going to swing out to the right, over the right heel, the left heel up to the left, and back to the center. Slower and bigger is better. Switch directions. Inhale and exhale. And two more big hip circles. Inhale, exhale. And one more. Inhale and exhale. Next, we're going to go into an extended child's pose. So uncurl your toes, float your hips, your buttocks toward your heels, extend your arms as far away as you can from your shoulders, drop your elbows, drop your forehead, and breathe. 3 breaths in extended child's pose. So I love the child's pose. It is a great modification if you're someone that can't do downward dog or anything that you feel you don't want to do or it's just too challenging. Just come here to child's pose. It's a very restorative pose, and you can benefit from just staying in child's pose as long as you want. On the next breath, we'll come back to our hands and knees, and we're going to go into some dancing lines. So you're going to float your left hand out as far as you can reach, and then float your left arm up, flip your left pinky up, take your pinky and your gaze up to the ceiling, and remember those hip circles? We're going to add those to our arm circles, so soft and big. Inhale and exhale. This is for joint release through the entire body, so slower is better here. Inhale and exhale. One more big arm circle, ending up with your pinky up, reaching to the ceiling, opening up to the left side of your body. As we go into threaded needle, soften that right elbow as you take your left hand under your heart, through your arm, dropping that left ear and shoulder to the mat. And if you want more, lifting up your right hand and putting it on the small of your back and breathing 3 breaths here. On the next breath, come back to your hands and knees. Maybe just wiggle your hips out a little bit. As we go into dancing lines on the other side, floating that right hand out as long as you can reach. Floating it up, flipping the pinky up, taking the pinky and the gaze up towards the ceiling, and then adding those hip circles with your arm circles. Slow and easy is better here. Inhaling and exhaling with each dancing line. On this next one, keep your pinky up as high as you can reach, opening up through the right side of your body as you thread the needle. Soften that left elbow and wrist as you take your hand under your heart through your armpit. Dropping that right ear and shoulder to the mat, maybe lifting that left hand up on the back, small of your back. And breathe 3 breaths there. And then slowly coming back to your hands and knees. Next, we're going to go into downward dog. If you have glaucoma or high blood pressure or any kind of injury that prevents you from doing downward dog, I suggest or encourage you to do that child's pose. Otherwise, tuck your toes under. Let's stretch the soles of the feet before we lift up by pressing the balls of the feet towards the back of the mat. And then slowly lift the knees, lift the sits bones up towards the ceiling. Lift your gaze, lift your knees. As we begin to pedal it out, drop that left heel, bend that right knee. Drop your right heel, bend the left knee. And continue inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, pressing one heel down at a time, then the opposite knee. This should feel good. Inhale. Exhale. Next, we're going to try to drop both heels down as far towards the mat as you can. As you press your sit bones up a little bit higher. Breathe 3 breaths here. We're going to go into some vinyasas with some modifications. So listen carefully for those modifications. You're going to lift up your heels and drop your shoulders over your wrists into a full plank. The modification is to drop the knees. That's perfectly okay. Otherwise, we keep our knees up, pulling the belly into the spine, wrist over the shoulders. Your body is like a straight Nordic plank. Your neck is in line with your spine. And breathe. From here, we can slowly lower our entire body down to the mat, chest and everything. Fingertips line up with the tops of your shoulders. Uncurl your toes, squeeze your elbows in. As we move into cobra, but know that in cobra, your lower disc and your back will compress. So if you have any back issues, maybe you just lift a little and you enter 2, or maybe your body allows you to lift higher. It's your cobra. And just get into that cobra and breathe. Let it feel good for your body. On the next breath, we're going to press back into that extended child's pose, where maybe you stay, or maybe you don't be in downward dog. Curling the toes under, lifting the sits bones, lifting your heart, and just letting your chest press toward your knees as you press your left heel down, right, left, right, left, right, left. Right, pressing both heels down as your sits bones press up, only to lift the heels high so that you can drop your shoulders right over your wrists. So that's important. You don't want our wrist under our face because we want to protect our wrist. So you can drop your knees. Otherwise, think about transitioning the body weight through your whole body, not just your upper body. Maybe pulling your belly into your spine and maybe opening up through your shoulder blades and turning your shoulder blades wider and feel how that makes a difference. So next you can go back into Cobra or Dormi for Chaturanga. In Chaturanga, we squeeze the elbows in to hold our whole body up. You can stay there as long as you wish, or drop back down into your Cobra. back into your extended child's pose, where you can stay or join me in downward dog. Pressing your left heel down, right, left, right, pressing both heels down, sits bones up, and then lifting the heels to drop back into your plank. If you're in child's pose, you would just push forward into your bent knee plank. So from here, you can go back into Cobra, because that's a wonderful stretch, or you can join me for Up Dog. In Up Dog, we uncurl the toes and slowly let the hips float towards the mat, but they don't touch the mat. As you lift your heart, lift your gaze, and breathe. On the next breath, come back into your extended child's pose, and then come back to hands and knees. So we're going to tuck our toes under. We're going to end up making our way up to standing forward fold. So I am letting you know that in case you can't do it from downward dog, maybe you have to step forward, use a chair, come up to standing. We're going to come up into forward fold. So first, downward dog, where you can either step forward or hop forward into your standing forward fold. Let your nose float toward your knees and the crown of the head just hang toward your toes. Let your arms be relaxed like a rag. And breathe. On the next breath, we'll slide our hands on top of our knees, only to straighten our arms and gaze forward to the front of our mats. You never want to come up too quickly from a seated or standing fold so we don't get dizzy. From there, we'll nod our chin and roll up to standing, nice and tall. I'm going to turn around so I'm with the long side of our mat. You can stay where you are, or you can just step back. We're going to spread our feet nice and wide. So your feet are parallel. Float your arms out. So now you're in a standing straddle split. This is good morning pose. You only hinge halfway down. So hips go to the back. As you hinge halfway down, gaze down to the floor. Let your arms be long, your legs be long. Let the energy flow through the crown of the head. You can stay here, or maybe you want more. You can join me for revolving triangle, dropping your left fingertips under your heart, or maybe your palm down. As you float your right hand and gaze up towards the ceiling, and breathe. Coming back into your good morning pose, and if you're doing the revolving triangle, let's go and drop our right fingertips or palm down underneath the heart as you float your left hand and gaze up towards the ceiling. Floating the arms back out to a T and hinging back up to standing straddle split. We're going to move right into our warrior. So we're going to turn our left foot out to the side, bending your left knee. Ideally, your left heel straight back to your right arch will be a straight line. The wider your feet are, the easier it is to stabilize. Next, we're going to rotate our upper body to look down our right fingers. Or no, left and right. Left fingers. And then we're going to go into peaceful warrior, dropping your back hand to your back leg, flipping your front palm up, and beginning to reach up towards the maybe just a little, or if you want more, you can continue up and towards the back. We'll breathe deep breaths, and if you have an intention that you thought of in the beginning of our practice, this is where you would think about that intention, or meditate on that intention, that goodness. Slowly come back into your warrior two with long arms, gazing down that finger. As we move into side angle, you drop that elbow over that bent knee, floating your back hand up and gazing down to your big toe. If you want more, you can go into an extended side angle, just sliding your hand all the way down to the inside ankle or not. That's what's so wonderful about this practice is you can do whatever level feels good for you. Slowly come back into your warrior two with long arms, gazing down your finger. As we move into triangle, you're going to straighten out that bent knee. Hand your upper body in that direction as you drop your hand to your thigh or your shin. Once again, gazing down to your big toe and floating your back hand up. Bend your knee, come back into warrior two. As we go into warrior one, we're going to take this back arm and bring it forward. Only reach both hands over the shoulders. And breathe. Let your biceps just come right over your ears. Let your head, your shoulders, and your hips be stacked. On the next breath, open back up into warrior two. That's our reset warrior pose. As we come back forward, we'll turn that side foot forward, so both feet are back forward to a standing straddle split. As you turn your other foot to the side, warriors on the other side, bending that knee, looking down that hand, warrior two. And peaceful warrior, drop your back hand to your back thigh, flip your front palm up. Begin to reach maybe just a little, maybe a lot. Next breath, come back into your warrior two. As we move to the side angle, dropping that elbow over that bent knee, floating the back hand up. Maybe going into an extended side angle, sliding coming down to a block or the floor, or just staying in traditional side angle. On the next breath, come back into your warrior two with long arms as we move into triangle. Going to straighten that bent knee and hinge your upper body in that direction as you drop your hand to your thigh or your shin, gazing down to your big toe, maybe floating that back hand up. Triangle pose. And bending that knee, coming back into warrior two, reset. As we move into warrior one, we're going to take that back arm out from the shoulder and reach up as high as you can. Wonderful stretch. I like to do warrior one after the other warriors because you can feel the stretch just a little bit more. And then dropping back into warrior two, only to come back forward, turning your foot, bringing your hands over your heart center, letting the heels come in, big toes coming back together with our feet. For our tree pose. So tree pose, you can stay in your mat. It'll give you more challenge. It's really more like the real world. Nothing is that level out there. Or you can just go and step off your mat where it's a little more level. So it's up to you. Hands over your heart. I do tree pose in a progression, so I encourage you to stay when you feel you can hold it for 5 breaths. So first we lift up that left heel. Stand tall, from belly to your spine. Find a spot in the room that's not moving. And then go ahead and maybe you let that heel come against that inside right ankle. Maybe you float your foot up a little, or a lot. Maybe you pick it up and put it inside your thigh. Hold your tree pose for 5 breaths. And release. Let's come into mountain pose. Relax the arms, let them dangle down, palms forward, just relaxed arms. Stand tall and close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so into mountain pose, which is a very important pose because we can just connect to the earth. We can connect our mind, body, and spirit here. Just in this mountain pose, growing tall like a mountain, growing strong, inviting strength and life and energy into our being, into our body. Pressing all 4 corners of the soles of the feet into the earth. As our brain remembers the connection of our feet to the earth, because we have taken away one of our senses, our eyesight. It just helps the brain to remember that connection. On your next breath, let's open our eyes, bring your hands over your heart center. We're going to go into tree pose on the other side, but I encourage you to maybe move your arms in different positions. So maybe it be a tall tree, maybe with lots of branches, Maybe you'll be a fat bush. Maybe keep your hands over your heart. We're going to lift up our right heel. Maybe you keep the ball of your foot down. That's okay. Or maybe you bring the heel to the inside of your standing leg, keeping your big toe down. Maybe you float your foot up just a little so the toes press to the floor or not. Or maybe you come up a little higher. Remember your intention here. Use your breath to stabilize. Remember the connection of the sole of the foot to the earth. Sometimes it gets windy when we do tree pose. No falling trees though, right? And release. Shoulder rolls back. Good job. We're going to chair pose and then we're going to go back down to our mats for our supine stretches and Padmasana. So first, let's just float the arms up, reach towards the ceiling with your gaze. And then pretend there's a chair back there. So your hips go back, be sure your knees don't go over your toenails. So gaze down and always be sure you can see those toenails. Now maybe if you prefer the bar stool, that's okay. Just reach it, your chair pose. Pull your belly into your spine. If you want more, you can float those heels up and balance on the balls of your feet or not. And breathe. Two more breaths. Inhale and exhale, stay nice and tall, float your arms all the way around until your hands are over your heart center. We're going to swan dive down to go down to the mat. So come to the front of your mats, hands are over your heart center, and swan dive is really fun because you're using your body and your breath. So soft knees through the whole time. Inhale, we float the hands up. As you swan dive, like a swan dive, hips go to the back, hands come in front of the knees or the ankles, flip them. And then you're going to bend your knees a little bit more because it's a heavy load that you're taking on. All of it, maybe it's energy, love, goodness, bringing it from heaven into your heart center. And again, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. This time, let's stay down in that forward fold, only to step back onto our hands and knees. And then we will just transition onto our buttocks, bringing your feet out in front. So that we can go into our boat pose. So on boat pose, I like to use my hands behind my knees, my thighs, and get as tall as you can. It's also kind of a posture stretch here. And then we're going to roll past our tailbones. Hold on. Roll past your tailbone until your arms are straight. Then gaze down at your belly and pull your belly into your spine. It's also a nice long stretch here. And then keeping your buttocks where they are, drop your shoulders, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Lift one leg or both legs to tabletop. Maybe you bring your hands down for balance. Maybe you hold on to your legs. Maybe you reach up because you want more. Maybe you straighten your legs or not. And breathe. Two more breaths here. On the next breath, hinge forward, back behind your knees, go nice and tall. And then roll past your tailbone once again. This is how we'll transition onto our back. So we're going to go slow, rounding the spine, letting one vertebra at a time come down to the mat as you slowly drop the back of your head to your mat. Bear hug your knees and gently rock your knees side to side. So gentle, gentle rocking. And then with your hands on top of your knees, we can circle our knees up and out and around and back together. So big circles with relaxed legs. Now if you're holding onto your shins, you're going to limit the size of your circles. So bigger is better here. It feels better. It's a better massage on the lower back. And you open up your hips and your hip joints here. So nice and slow. And then we can switch the direction of our circles by pushing our knees down, then opening them away from each other, out to the side, back up towards your shoulders. Nice and slow. On the next circle, just bring the knees to the armpits, right knee to the right armpit, left knee to the left armpit. Push your tailbone towards your mat. You're in Happy Baby Modified. You can stay here, or if you want more, lift your big toes up and grab hold of them. And breathe. Maybe rock side to side. And then we're going to release as we bring our legs up the wall. Imagine your legs are sitting against the wall and your body's 90 degrees. You want to drop the palms of your hands onto your mat that you need to support your legs. Let your legs be weightless while your body is grounded. And you can stay here for our final relaxation, final Savasana. Or maybe you float your feet down and straighten your legs, bringing your left heel to the left corner of the mat, and the right heel to the right corner of your mat. Let us float our arms out to a T with our palms up. Close your eyes and just relax. Just be still. Take this time for yourself to just be. And know that this is the most important part of our practice today. The more that you can relax, the more energy that will flow through your body. So relax your mind, your body, and your spirit. Relax your toes and balls of your feet, the arches of your feet. Relax your heels and your calves. Behind your knees, your thighs, your buttocks, your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, and your shoulder blades just melting into your back. Relax your arms, the insides of your elbows, the insides of your wrist, the palms of your hands and your fingers, just let them fall where they naturally fall. Relax your thumbs. As you relax your thumbs, your shoulders will relax a little bit more. Relax your hip bones and your pelvis, your belly, your rib cage, your chest, your neck, your scalp, and all the muscles in your face. We hold so much tension in our face. Let us relax all the muscles, relaxing the forehead, the eyebrows, the eyelids, cheekbones, your nose, your chin, your ears and your earlobes, even your teeth. Unclench them, let them part. Let your tongue fall away from your teeth and just be still. And then let us just open our hearts and let our hearts be filled with love today. Love of yourself, love of others, and even love of the unlovable. Sometimes it's hard to die to others, as Michael talked about, to just be, to let things be good. Let go of conflict through love. May your hearts be filled with grace, grace in all circumstances. And gratitude, let us be thankful for the opportunity just to come here today, for the bodies that we've been given and the blessings that we have been given. Our heart of gratitude is a joyful heart. Let us share that joy with others. And may your hearts be filled with peace. It all starts in our own hearts. Let us share that peace in our hearts with those around us. Let us pray for peace in our world, our country, our own neighborhoods, and our own families. And then before we roll over onto our sides, let's do a big inhale as deep as you can. And then let your exhale be long and soft through the mouth, almost as though it was a surrender. And one more breath like that. Inhale. Soft surrendering exhale. Return to normal breath and slowly roll over onto your sides. Eventually making your way up to a seated position the way we started our practice today. I'd like to end our practice with prayer request. So if you're watching online, maybe you just drop your prayer request down in the comments, or maybe you just yell them out in the living room. We can pray for each other even just in the spirit. And for those of you that join me today, you're welcome to just yell out any prayer request. Let's take a minute or two to pray. Let us open our eyes, sit nice and tall. Take your arms out long, your palms up. Inhale to float your hands up and exhale hands over heart center. I hope you feel renewed and restored after your practice today. Be sure to jot down any comments and any feedback. That always helps me to lead the class, so that the class is best for you. Have a wonderful week, a wonderful day. Namaste. Peace be with you. Michael will come to close us out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Everybody in the space, could you give thanks to Karen and everybody online? If you could maybe say thank you. There we go. Awesome. Thank you so much, Karen. We did have one prayer request come in from Dave Werga, who's joining us from the hospital today with a nephew. So, Dave, we will definitely keep you and your nephew in prayer throughout the week. We also have a team that any of these prayer requests that come in, we pray for those throughout the week. But I'm going to close us this morning with the Lord's Prayer. It is a Christian prayer, but it's also a prayer that's been prayed by people across the spiritual spectrum from all different faiths and walks of life. And so we're going to pray that together. Yes, thank you, Janine. We appreciate you. This has also been called just the family prayer for humanity. So let's just, if you're wherever you are, pray it together or in your heart silently. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen and amen and namaste. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we'll be here same time, same place. For those, I know, Gene, you were asking about coming physically next week, Lake Deaton UMC at 9 a.m. You can join physically in the space with Karen, or you can continue to join us virtually, whatever is more comfortable for you. We're just grateful to be able to do this with you. So thank you, everybody. Have an awesome week, and please share